On with the story. Lance had the phone conversation with his father, and it was long. It was really long, and they were puzzled at that. And when it was over, Lance said, "Sorry that was so long, but my mother got on there," and maybe you already have an idea what she's like. That's my dad and I figured out what we had to pretty quick. Dad would like. Dad is willing to accept that I try to stay the course. I really want to try to finish this quest. Well, he didn't call it a quest, but well, this challenge that we laid for ourselves. I'd really like to do that, and uh, if there's any chance that I could recover enough to get going again, I'd really like to try to do that. And his father was okay with that. He said, um, I'll come get you at any point. But if you want to try it, you talk to your hostess there and see what she says. But tell her, absolutely, I'll pay for any bother or expense that she goes to. At that, Violet got a little bit annoyed. She says, I don't want to hear anything about if I hear anything more about being paid for helping you out here, you're going to see your lady, as you call me, get kind of mad. No more of that. I will be happy to try to get you back on the road again. I think it can be done, but I haven't really checked out how badly you've been hurt. So we might as well see to that now. Now, Lance was wearing still nothing but those sheets. That's what he'd slept in. That's what had cooled him down. They called them the Tatus sheets. Uh, but the weather was still pretty warm, and he didn't have any other clothes because they'd cut his clothes all apart, but it didn't seem to make any difference. Uh, Violet suggested that they go to the back porch. The weather was nice, and it wouldn't do to just be inside all the time. So the two women wheeled his chair out. He still couldn't do it himself because his right arm wasn't working, and so they wheeled him out onto the back porch, and Violet explained to Lance that this therapy was not going to be easy. If he wanted to try to get back on the road, even in a couple of weeks, he might as well accept that that's not certain I can do that, or we can do that. And even if we try, it's going to be hard to do. So the first thing I want to do, well, I should also explain that Violet was an retired occupational therapist, but she knew the skill of a physical therapist as well. She was really very skilled, and otherwise she would not have tried to take care of him herself. So she said, I'm gonna massage your shoulder a little bit. I want to work my hands on your shoulder and see what I feel there. Now, Lance, it's gonna hurt. That's why I had you take those pills. This is gonna hurt. I'll be as gentle as I can. But what I'd like you to do is let me know by the sounds you make how bad it hurts. And so, I know you probably want to be manly and tough it out, but this is going to hurt. So she started to work on that shoulder, and sure enough, at first she was on the other side, and that felt kind of good in a way, and he wasn't ashamed about it. He said, oh, that feels good, or whatever. And then she started to work, not work on it really, just try to feel what had happened to his shoulder. Then it started to hurt, of course, and she started to manipulate it a little bit, and he did what she said. He started to say, ooh, making the sounds, which she needed to hear. She didn't want him to be brave, and so she could tell there was some real trouble up there in the shoulder. Then she worked down to see about the arm. Now his arm didn't seem so bad. It was scratched up, but it didn't seem so bad because he could do that. Then she said, "Well, let's see how high we can get this." And this, and he started to lift it up a little bit. Oh, and he had to stop. So Violet didn't do much more there. She said, "Now let's see about that knee." Well, there's where it really hurt. And Violet, she was as gentle as she could. She raised his leg and just felt what was there. Now remember, it had popped back into place, but everything around her had been stretched and bruised, and I don't know how much you know about that kind of thing, but so she didn't try to do anything. She just kind of lifted his leg a little bit, partly to see if his hip had been injured as well, and boy, he was groaning and carrying on doing what she said, but he probably could have been brave, but it was really hurting, even in spite of the aspirin and the Tylenol. And she tried to straighten the leg out a little bit, and just a tiny bit, and right there he said, that's it, I can't do any more. And she said, okay, but we're going to have to, there's going to be a lot of this. We'll stop for now. Maybe later we can go at this again. And he said, well, okay, maybe later. Well, guess who heard all this stuff going on?